The galaxy's mockery, the grand hall of the Galactic Council, glittered with light. Thousands of alien species filled the chamber, their voices mixing into a storm of noise. Some hissed, some laughed in high tones, others spoke in deep growls that echoed against the crystal walls. They were here to discuss the future of the galaxy. And once again, Earth was the joke. On a raised platform, the council speaker, an old alien with silver scales, slammed his staff for silence. "Next topic," he said, his voice cold. "The matter of the humans." The room erupted with laughter before he could even continue. A long-armed alien waved one of his tentacles. "Humans? They are nothing. A weak species. They can barely control their own planet. Why must we waste time speaking about them?" Another joined in, his voice filled with mockery. "Yes, I heard they still fight wars with primitive machines. Guns. Can you imagine? Guns when we have starships that can destroy moons?" The chamber filled with cruel laughter. In the far back, one young alien officer from a minor species kept quiet. His large black eyes watched the room with unease. He had seen strange reports. He had read transmissions from scouts near the Sol system. Something did not add up. But in the chamber, no one wanted to listen. "They are children," another alien sneered. His fur bristled as he grinned. "They beg for membership in this council, but they bring nothing of value. No power, no technology, no influence. They—" Speaker nodded, amused. "Then we are agreed. Earth remains outside. Let them stay in their little blue prison." Laughter thundered again, rolling like a storm. But beneath the laughter, whispers had begun to spread across the galaxy. For months, strange signals had been detected near the human world. Unusual energy spikes appeared and disappeared, as if something vast was being hidden in the dark. Alien scouts sent to investigate never returned, or they reported nothing but silence before their signals vanished. Still, in the council chamber, no one cared. "They hide behind silence because they are afraid," said one alien lord. His golden crest shook as he chuckled. "Earth knows it cannot stand against us, so it stays quiet, hoping we will forget them." Another added, "And we shall. Why fear a species too weak to matter?" The young officer finally spoke. His voice was soft, but it carried. "Respectfully, council members, what if Earth is not weak? What if their silence is not fear, but preparation?" The room fell quiet for only a second. Then the entire chamber exploded with laughter louder than before. "Preparation?" One alien howled. "For what? To throw rocks at our fleets?" "They cannot even build proper warships," another jeered. "They will never rise," said the speaker. "The humans will remain as they are, insignificant." The officer lowered his head, silenced by their cruelty. But in his heart, unease grew stronger. He remembered the last report he had read from the edge of human space. Unusual energy detected. Patterns suggest construction. Massive scale. Recommend. Investigation. That was the last line. The patrol ship had gone dark after that. The officer wanted to shout it out. He wanted to warn them again. But his voice was drowned beneath the sound of the council's endless laughter. Meanwhile, on Earth, silence reigned. The humans had not replied to any of the council's insults. No protests. No begging for membership. No sign of weakness. From orbit, Earth looked quiet, almost defenseless. But deep below the oceans, inside hollowed asteroids, and hidden within the void beyond Pluto, things were stirring. Giant machines worked in shadows, unseen by alien eyes. Halls of dark steel, larger than cities, were being forged. Energy cores hummed with power never seen before. And all across Earth, a single message was being taught to every child, every soldier, every engineer. They laughed at us. They mocked us. They think we are weak. Let them laugh. For the first time in history, all of humanity spoke as one. The council thought Earth was afraid, but Earth was patient. The chamber of the council echoed with cruel voices for the last time. That day, humans will never rise, the speaker declared. Never, the lords agreed. But far away, in the cold darkness beyond the stars, a shape moved, slowly, silently, growing. The humans were building something. Something the galaxy had never seen. And when it came, there would be no warning. Asterisk. A silent world space around Earth looked empty. No fleets. No patrols. No defenses. Alien scouts who dared to come close reported the same thing again and again. Earth is silent. And silence was frightening. The Zaran Dominion sent 3 ships to orbit the Sol system. The commander of the squadron, a tall insectoid with gleaming red eyes, laughed as he looked at the blue planet. So weak, he hissed. They don't even defend themselves. The humans hide like prey, waiting for hunters. One of his officers shifted uneasily. Then why do they not beg for protection? Why do they not surrender? The commander snapped his wings in irritation. Because they are fools. Weaklings often believe silence is power. But soon, silence will kill them. He gave the order. The ships scanned the system. They searched every moon, every orbit, every shadow. They found nothing, but the sensors were wrong. Beneath the calm surface of Earth's oceans, great machines worked tirelessly. The sea floor trembled as titanic engines were assembled. The world above saw only waves and storms, but below the deep black water, shipyards larger than mountains glowed with secret light. Far away, beyond Pluto, dark objects drifted silently. They looked like asteroids, shapeless rocks tumbling in. Space, but inside, those rocks were hollow. And within them, humans built war machines that the galaxy could not yet imagine. The aliens laughed because they saw nothing. They did not know they were looking at a mask. The silence was the weapon. On the council's homeworld, the same laughter spread. The humans are finished, one alien leader declared. Our scouts see no fleets. They are broken. Another added, good. Then we need not waste resources worrying about them. They are already forgotten. But in the back of the council hall, the young officer who had warned them before clenched his fists. His mind replayed the last transmission from the patrol that never returned. We see something, a shadow, not a planet, not a moon. Then, silence. He tried to speak again, but the council cut him off with laughter. Always with his human stories, they sneered. Let the child worry. The rest of us will enjoy peace. Peace. Yes, that was the word they loved. The council lived in comfort, proud and arrogant, believing no one could challenge their rule. But peace had never been humanity's path. On Earth, silence was not surrender. Silence was work. Silence was patience. Silence was the sound of thousands, of engineers tightening bolts, thousands of welders fusing steel, thousands of scientists testing weapons that no alien mind could understand. The children of Earth learned history in new ways. Teachers no longer spoke only of wars between nations. They spoke of humiliation. They spoke of the day aliens laughed at humanity. And they told the children, one day you will be the ones to answer that laughter. Generations grew up with. That lesson burned into their souls. The aliens believed silence meant fear. But silence only meant waiting. One quiet night above the planet Neptune, a star seemed to flicker unnaturally. To passing alien probes, it looked like a simple distortion. In space, a glitch, an error, but it was not an error. It was the faint outline of something massive, something shaped like no alien ship, its hull black, as if it drank light itself, its engines cold, hidden, waiting. A battleship, the first of its kind. The humans did not send messages. They did not announce its launch. They did not boast. The galaxy mocked Earth, but Earth whispered nothing back. Instead, deep in the control chamber of the massive ship, a human commander stood in silence. His hand rested on the railing as screens flickered with power. The battleship pulsed like a living heart, steady, patient, strong. He gave one quiet order: wait. And so the ship waited in darkness. The galaxy still laughed. The council still mocked. Alien fleets still patrolled, blind to the shadow growing behind them. But soon, silence would end. And when it ended, it would come like thunder. No warning. Just a battleship. The first signs the scout ship Veyra drifted on the edge of the Sol system. Its alien crew was nervous, but their commander laughed as he looked at the small blue planet through the viewport. Earth, he said with contempt. So quiet, so defenseless. Nothing but a rock with water and noisy primates. His crew forced uneasy laughs, but the sensors told a different story. Commander, one officer said, his voice tight, we are detecting unusual energy waves near the outer planets. They rise and fall like something charging and then hiding again. The commander hissed. Glitches. Our machines are too advanced to be fooled by human toys. Still, he ordered the scans to continue. Hours passed. The Veyra circled slowly, its sensors probing the void. At first, nothing unusual appeared. But then, just for a moment, the stars themselves seemed to bend. A shadow blocked the light. Not a planet, not a moon. Something else. Something vast. Contact. The officer shouted. Bearing 214. It's huge. The commander leaned forward, his red eyes narrowing. Zoom in. The screen flickered. Static. Shapes. For a second, the crew saw it a black wall, darker than space itself, stretching across their RAR. View. Lights glowed faintly, like scars across its surface. And then it was gone. The sensors went dead. The engines shut down. The crew's laughter turned into screams. The last transmission from the Veyra was nothing but a broken whisper. A shadow. Moving. It's alive. Then silence. When the report reached the Galactic Council, many refused to believe it. A sensor malfunction, one alien lord declared, waving the data away. Do not insult us with ghost stories. Another sneered. If the humans had such a ship, we would have seen it long ago. They cannot build anything larger than a freighter. The young officer stood again. His voice was firm. With respect, council members, 3 patrols have vanished now. Not 1, 3, each near human space. The last one described a shadow. The chamber erupted with laughter once more. Shadows? Shall we fear the dark now? Perhaps. Humans are summoning ghosts to protect them. Your imagination is greater than human strength. But when the laughter faded, a faint unease lingered. Reports spread quickly across the stars. Traders whispered of ships that disappeared near Sol. Miners spoke of strange signals in the asteroid belt. Some said they saw a flash near Neptune Bright. As a star's birth, the council ignored them, but soldiers, captains, and common folk began to wonder. What if the humans were not weak? Meanwhile, on Earth, the secret continued. Inside the hidden shipyards, the battleship's frame was complete. Its black hull swallowed light, making it nearly invisible in space. New weapons, never seen in alien hands, were installed one by one. The engineers did not laugh. They worked in silence. Each bolt tightened with rage. Each wire connected with purpose. Every part of the ship was built with a single memory, the sound of aliens mocking Earth. The commander of the great ship, a man named Admiral Kane, stood on the bridge for the first time. His eyes were cold, his voice calm. This ship, he said to his crew, is not built for exploration. It is not built for peace. It is built for the day they forget to laugh. His crew nodded in silence. They understood. The ship's core powered up, sending ripples of energy through the void. Far away, alien sensors caught the echo, but none could believe it came from Earth. On the Council's homeworld, debate turned to fear. Too many patrols lost, one lord said, his scales twitching nervously. Coincidence, another argued, but his voice shook. Coincidence does not kill 3 fleets, the young officer replied. We mock Earth too loudly. We ignore them too long. I fear we will regret it. The chamber fell silent for the first time in months. Even the speaker's eyes narrowed with doubt, and then suddenly alarms layered across the council hall. A live feed came from the outer rim. Dozens of alien ships screamed in distress. One captain's face filled the screen, his voice breaking with terror. It came out of nowhere. A ship black as death, weapons unstoppable. We cannot fight. The feed cut to static. The hall was silent. No laughter. Only fear. And in the cold dark beyond Pluto, the human battleship turned slowly, its engines still hidden, its weapons sleeping. It was not time yet, but the first signs had been given. The galaxy was beginning to realize the truth. Earth was not afraid. Earth was waiting. And when the battleship finally moved, it would move without warning. The battleship awakens. For centuries, the Galactic Council had laughed at humans. But the laughter was dying. The loss of 3 patrol fleets could no longer be ignored. Whispers spread across the stars. In markets, in taverns, in command centers, one word kept returning. Battleship. No one had seen it clearly. Only shadows. Only glimpses. But even shadows carried weight. Shadows meant something vast was moving in the dark. On the icy moon of Triton, hidden deep inside its frozen crust, alarms blared. A chamber larger than any alien war factory came alive. Engines roared to life, shaking the frozen caverns. Ice cracked and split, sending quakes across the moon's surface. The humans inside the control room stood firm. Engineers, soldiers, scientists, every one of them silent as the ground shook. Report, Admiral Kane ordered. All systems green, replied his chief engineer. Weapons ready. Shields ready. Power core stable. Kane nodded slowly. Then it is time. Above Triton, space tore open. The moon's crust split apart, revealing a cavern mouth the size of a continent. And from that mouth, the ship rose, the Erebus. The first human battleship. It was not sleek like alien ships. It was not polished with curves of elegance. It was raw steel, black as night, covered in scars of armor thicker than any council dreadnought. Its surface bristled with weapons, massive cannons, missile silos, railguns long enough to pierce moons. The ship moved like a predator, waking from hibernation. And as it rose, the silence of space broke. A deep hum shook the void, like a heartbeat. Echoing across the stars. At that same moment, alien scouts near Neptune caught sight of it. Their ships froze, their crews staring in disbelief. That cannot be human, one captain whispered. It is too large, too advanced, impossible. But the impossible loomed before them. Blotting out the stars, the Erebus turned its hull slowly, revealing its insignia. A single white star, painted on black steel. Then, for the first time in galactic history, a human voice cut through every alien channel. To those who laughed, listen well. Earth is silent no longer. The voice was calm, steady, and filled with steel. It was Admiral Kane. You thought us weak. You thought us blind. But while you mocked, we built. While you laughed, we forged weapons stronger than your dreams. You will not mock us again. The message ended. No threats, no demands. Only truth. Alien scouts panicked. Some tried to flee, Others froze. But one made the mistake of firing. A beam of energy shot toward the Erebus. It struck the hull only to vanish like water against stone. The humans did not fire back. Not yet. The Erebus simply turned away, its engines flaring as it vanished into the dark. But its image had already burned across the galaxy. On the councils, homeworld, chaos erupted. Impossible, shouted one lord, his scales trembling. No species builds such a ship in silence. Cried another. They must have stolen it. They must have had help. But the young officer stood in the center of the chamber, his voice low but clear. No, they did it themselves. The council chamber fell quiet. For the first time, no one laughed. The speaker slammed his staff. Then humanity is a threat. We must unite our fleets. We must crush them before this ship multiplies. But deep inside, even the speaker felt it, the fear that it was already too late. Meanwhile, across Earth, the people watched as their battleship rose into history. Screens across cities and colonies displayed its image. Children stared in awe. Soldiers saluted. Engineers wept with pride that the silence of years was broken. Every human knew the same truth. The galaxy would never laugh at Earth again, but the humans were not done. The Erebus was only the first. Beneath the oceans, in the asteroids, in hollow planets, other giants were stirring. The galaxy thought one battleship was frightening. Soon they would learn the truth. Earth had built a fleet, and the fleet was waiting. Asterisk. The galaxy trembles news traveled faster than light. Every relay, every come beacon, every whisper carried the same message. Earth has a battleship. Across the galaxy, leaders denied it, mocked it, or tried to bury it. But they could not silence the people. In spaceports and market squares, in mines and factories, in palaces and slums, billions of voices repeated the same word in fear and wonder. Battleship, on the council's homeworld. Emergency meetings never ended. The great chamber that once echoed with laughter now trembled with shouting. They cannot be allowed to keep it. One reptilian lord bellowed, his tail thrashing. One ship like that can destroy 10 of ours. They built it in secret, another added with fear in his eyes. If they built one, what stops them from building 10 more? The speaker slammed his staff. We will form a grand fleet. Every empire, every navy will join. We will surround Earth and demand their surrender. But his words did not calm the chamber, because deep inside, every council member knew you could surround silence, but you could not kill it. Meanwhile, in the outer colonies, things were different. The weak species, the ones the council ignored and taxed into poverty, began to hope. They laughed at Earth once, whispered a miner on a barren moon. And now Earth builds what the council fears. A trader added, if humans can defy them, maybe we can too. Across the galaxy, the silence of Earth was no longer seen as weakness. It was seen as strength, but not everyone was hopeful. In the darkness between stars, alien warlords prepared. Fleets were called back from borders. Training doubled. Factories worked without rest. Some species even considered abandoning the council, fearing Earth would choose them as the first target. Fear spread like wildfire. Back in Sol, the Erebus drifted near Saturn's rings, cloaked by shadows. Inside, Admiral Kane stood before his officers. They are afraid, he said quietly. Good. Let fear do the work for us. One young officer frowned. Admiral, shouldn't we strike now, while they are confused? Kane's eyes were cold. Not yet. Let them tremble first. Let them imagine what we can do. Their fear will weaken them more than any gun. The crew nodded. They understood. Humanity's greatest weapon was not firepower. It was uncertainty. On the council's communication net, messages grew frantic. One came from a patrol near a dwarf star. We saw it again. The shadow. It did not fire, but it followed us for hours. It could have destroyed us at any time. Another came from a merchant ship. We swear we saw two of them. Not one, two. Black ships drifting among the asteroids. And another, whole. Convoys refuse to travel near Sol. They say it is cursed space, haunted by human giants. The council tried to dismiss the reports, but each denial only made the truth heavier. In one distant system, a warlord laughed too loudly to hide his fear. Humans? They think one ship will scare me? He boasted to his generals. I will lead my fleet to Earth myself. I will burn their planet, destroy their people, and drag that battleship back as my trophy. But as his fleet departed, his own officers exchanged uneasy looks. None of them truly believed his words, because deep inside, every alien captain now feared the same thing. What if one ship was only the beginning? On Earth itself, silence still ruled. No celebrations, no declarations, only work. Engineers built more. Soldiers trained harder. Children studied longer. Humanity knew the galaxy was watching, but they would not reveal their hand yet. The silence itself was the answer, and the silence was deafening. In the council chamber, the young officer spoke one last time. His voice shook, not from fear, but from truth. They laughed at Earth. Now they tremble. If you cannot see what comes next, then you are already defeated. The chamber fell into silence. For the first time in galactic history, it was not humanity that was mocked. It was the council itself. And in the cold dark near Neptune, the Erebus turned once more, its guns still quiet, its engines like a heartbeat. In the void. Waiting. Watching. Letting the galaxy destroy itself with fear. When fear turns to war, the galaxy could no longer sit still. For months, fear spread like smoke through every world. Trade slowed. Borders locked down. Entire colonies whispered about Earth's shadow ship, the Erebus. But fear, if left too long, always turned into something else. War. The Galactic Council made their choice. A grand armada was formed, 500 ships, the greatest fleet assembled in centuries. Dreadnoughts from the reptilian lords, cruisers from the insectoid hives, carriers from the avian clans. Even neutral empires, too afraid to refuse, sent their warships. In the great council hall, the speaker stood tall before the galaxy's leaders. Humans dare mock us with silence. They dare build weapons in shadows. We will show them that the council rules the stars. We will erase their battleship and burn their planet to ash. The chamber thundered with forced applause. But beneath the noise, many eyes held doubt. The fleet launched from the core worlds, stretching across space like a swarm of steel. They called themselves the Peace Armada. But every captain knew the truth. It was not peace they carried. It was fear sharpened into blades. Meanwhile, in Sol System, Earth watched quietly. Inside the command chamber of the Erebus, Admiral Kane studied the incoming reports. Hundreds of ships. Every empire united against them. The fleet would arrive. In 3 days. Orders, sir? His captain asked. Kane did not blink. We wait. Wait? The younger officers exchanged nervous looks. They outnumber us 100 to 1. Kane's voice was calm, steady. Numbers do not matter when the enemy is blind. Let them come. Let them fire first. And when they do... He looked through the viewport at Saturn's rings, glowing, pale gold in the dark. His eyes were sharp as steel. We will remind them why silence should be feared. On the journey, the Armada's captains grew restless. They joked loudly to hide their unease. Earth will crumble like dust. One ship cannot fight 100. Their silence is nothing but cowardice. But at night, when comes were, quiet and stars burned cold, every captain thought the same thing. What if the humans were waiting? On the second day, the fleet's scouts reached the edge of Sol. They sent back only one word before their signals cut off. Shadow. The armada pressed forward. On the third day, the battleship revealed itself. The Erebus emerged from Saturn's rings. Black as the void, so vast it made the Council dreadnoughts look like toys. Its armor reflected nothing. Its engines burned. Like the heart of a dying star, the alien crews froze. "By the void," whispered one commander. "It's real." The speaker's voice crackled across the armada channel. "Do not falter. Fire." Thousands of weapons lit the void. Beams of energy, missiles, plasma fire, all rushed toward the Erebus like a storm. The humans did not move. The ship simply waited. And then the storm struck. The void exploded with light. But when the flames faded, the Erebus still floated, untouched. Its shields glowed faint blue, then faded back into silence. The galaxy's greatest armada had fired everything. And it had done nothing. Inside the Erebus, Admiral Kane gave the only order his crew had been waiting for. Now, the first human. Volley tore across the stars. A single railgun shot one pierced a dreadnought clean through, splitting it in half. A swarm of missiles streaked like fireflies, weaving through enemy shields as if the defenses were paper. Carriers burned. Cruisers shattered. Entire wings of ships vanished in seconds. The aliens screamed across the comm channels. "They're cutting through us." No weapon should be this strong. "Shields are useless. Retreat. Retreat." But retreat was impossible. The Erebus moved with slow, crushing patience. Every shot was precise, every strike final. In less than an hour, a fleet of 500 ships had become wreckage drifting through Saturn's rings. Only a handful survived, shattered, limping, fleeing back toward the core worlds with one message. That would shatter the galaxy. Earth has won. On Earth. Billions watched the broadcast in silence. Some wept, some cheered, some simply stared, stunned. The galaxy had brought its greatest army to their doorstep. And humanity had answered with one ship. In the council chamber, silence returned. But it was not the silence of mockery. It was the silence of terror. The speaker's hands trembled on his staff. His voice cracked as he whispered the words no alien had ever spoken before. "What are they?" And in Sol System, the Erebus drifted calmly among the wreckage, its weapons cooling, its crew silent. They had not declared war. They had not shouted victory. They had simply defended their home, and the galaxy trembled. The judgment of Earth, the battlefield near Saturn, was silent. Where 500 alien warships once roared, only wreckage drifted now, broken hulls, shattered wings, burned engines. The pride of the Galactic Council floated like corpses among the rings, and at the center of it all, the Erebus waited. The human battleship did not chase the survivors. It did not fire at the fleeing wrecks. It simply watched. Its weapons were cold, its engines steady, its silence louder than thunder. The galaxy trembled. News spread faster than any fleet. On border worlds. People whispered of the battle as if it were myth. One ship, only one ship destroyed the greatest armada. They mocked Earth, and Earth answered with fire. The humans did not laugh. They did not shout. They only watched. Fear became awe. Awe became legend. And legend carried faster than truth. In the council chamber, chaos reigned. Leaders screamed at one another, blaming, denying, trembling. Their ship is a weapon of gods. No, they must have hidden the fleet. Perhaps they are not human at all. The speaker struck his staff again and again, but his voice carried no power now. For the first time in 3 millennia, the council had lost its authority. Every word they spoke was hollow, because the galaxy no longer looked to them for answers. It looked to Earth. Inside the Erebus, Admiral Kane stood in the command chamber. His officers awaited his orders, their faces pale from the scale of what they had done. "Admiral," one whispered, The council begs for a response. They ask what humanity wants. Kane looked out through the viewport at the wreckage drifting in Saturn's light. His voice was low, steady. Let them wait. And wait the galaxy did. Worlds stopped trading, stopped working, stopped fighting one another. Every species turned its eyes toward Sol, waiting for Earth's first demand. Would the humans take revenge? Would they destroy the council? Would they crown themselves rulers of the stars? The silence stretched on. 1 day, 2 days. A week. The silence itself became judgment. Finally, when the waiting nearly broke the galaxy apart, Earth spoke. The message came from the Erebus. Admiral Kane's face appeared across every comm channel, his eyes calm, his voice firm. You mocked. You laughed at us. You called us weak. And when we stayed silent, you thought us broken. But silence is not weakness. It is patience. We did not build our battleship for conquest. We built it for survival. You came to our system with 500 ships. You came to burn our home, and yet we stand. He paused, letting the silence settle like iron. Earth does not want your throne. Earth does not want your trains. We want only this. Never again will you mock us. Never again will you invade us. Never again will you call us less than what we are. Remember this day. Remember the wreckage you left behind. Remember that humanity does not forgive lightly, and humanity never forgets. The message ended. No threats. No empire declared. Only truth. Across the galaxy, billions felt the weight of those words. The weak species, the miners, the traitors, the forgotten, raised their voices. If Earth can stand against the Council, then so can we. The powerful. Empires whispered fearfully among themselves. Some began to withdraw their fleets from occupied worlds. Others sent quiet envoys to Sol, offering friendship instead of laughter. The Council itself grew silent, its power shattered not by fire, but by shame. And so, without conquering a single world, without planting a single flag, humanity became the most feared and respected power in the galaxy, because they had shown the truth. Laughter cannot kill. Mockery cannot break. But silence, when held long enough, can shake the stars. On Earth, children looked up at the sky and whispered of the Erebus. To them, it was no longer just a ship. It was a promise that humanity would never kneel again. And in the hidden shipyards, deep in asteroids and under oceans, more giants were being born. Humanity had shown one ship, but the galaxy had not yet seen the fleet. The galaxy mocked Earth once. It would never mock Earth again. And so the judgment of humanity was sealed, not with words, not with conquest, but with silence, and a battleship that screamed across the void.